call later, no rush. She's a slim beat girl from Decatur. When we first spoke, I could tell she had flavor. Her voice box smelled like green hour later.
What's up? Got me feeling like an AC. Cruising with the top down, the weather still amazing. God has been good, so I'ma keep taking dates with her. But if she cheat on me, I promise I'ma find better. They say New York's a cold chick with an attitude that is true, but it's expensive if I had to move. So I might do Texas if I had to choose. A lot of people tell me that the rain must do, but shoot, I'm in the mood for a better view. You must be tripping if you think there's not a better you. And I gotta see, you the hottest, but my AZ lady is modest. I know, I think I could find me a better woman. Some girl who defines me how she do it. She knows what's inside me, so I'm doing myself got me finding that I love Cali. I think I could find me a better woman. Some girl who defines me how she do it. She knows what's inside me, so I'm doing myself got me finding that I love Cali. I know I do it all for Cali. I know I do, I lose it all for Cali. I know I do, my only girl is Cali. I know what to do, cause all I love is Cali.
I got this girl, California, everybody wants to meet her cause they heard she's paid. When you get close enough, you can't help but stay. I could cheat a little bit, but I'm back the next day. But my girl MV is the one I see. When I need to get away, she's the one for me. But she's way too hot, yo, she love flashing lights. I can only keep pace if I stay a few nights. But it's cool, cause I got 48 more. I heard about Ohio, but I'm over to Florida.
Yes. Welcome back to another episode of the C&J Sports and Beer Podcast. Welcome back. What's up? How are you? Long overdue. Long overdue is what I would say. It's been I want to say nearly 2 weeks since the last time we streamed live. It feels good to be back on air. It feels good to be back talking sports. It feels good to have a nice beer, and I'm doing this with you. To the many listeners out there showing us love, we appreciate it. We appreciate it. How should I start? Because I'm back again, a solo show. So I guess I can start off by saying, if this is your first time, thank you. If this is your second time, thank you. If you've been with us since day one, this is episode number 8. So that means you've been with us strong for about 8 weeks. Thank you, and we love you. C&J Sports and Beer Podcast is back, and we have a lot to talk about tonight. And I don't want to say a lot, it's a solo show, so I'm gonna try to keep it short and sweet for you guys tonight, and work on this goal that I set for myself prior to tonight's show. So, like I said, I'll be solo tonight. My man Jared decided to go on another vacation. He's the only person I know that takes vacation before normal people take vacation time. I mean, he's on vacation and summer hasn't started. So it's kind of strange, but he's on a little R&R vacation in the Midwest. If I'm not mistaken, I think he's over in Illinois, the beautiful city of Chicago. He'll return next week. 2 is better than 1, and this duo that we have together is something special. So stay locked and stay tuned for him. He will be back. Before I get started, I just want to update you guys on a few things and explain why we were off last week. To us, we believe that, how can I put it? Content-wise, we believe we're on point. And since this is a show that is focused on opinions and researching and bringing news and presenting our opinion in a way to where an individual would understand it if they like sports and they're passionate about sports, and it's more than just the eye test. We think our content is great. Oftentimes you may agree with our content, oftentimes you may disagree, but at the end of the day, this is an opinionated show, and it's a thought-provoking show that we want to present to you. So we think our content is on point. But one thing I value presentation. And as a team, we felt that it's time for us to step our game up and get our presentation A1, because, our content will only take us so far before the presentation is something we need to focus on. So being that we stream live right there on cue, we're limited to the amount of things that we can do after the show is over with and we press submit and we send it to the world. We can't go back in. We can't do anything over one. We can't retake in the middle of a live broadcast. Is what we say is what we mean. We can come back and clear it up 30 seconds later, but everything is right there in your face on point. So we decided if we want to be on point, we want to do a live show, we want to bring a live show. We don't want the playbacks, we don't want the do-over. We need to make sure the presentation is great because as mentioned, and as I mentioned, the content is going to be there. So we felt the need, it's time to beef up our lighting and beef up our audio. And I don't know if you guys can tell from previous weeks, but I'm much brighter. I'm not as yellow or orangish or too bright here, too bright there. I think it's even out, and that's one thing I focused on within the last 2 weeks. How can I improve my lighting and how can I improve my audio? Therefore, it sounds great to the individuals who taken time out of their evening or their late night. If you're on the East Coast listening to us, we want to ensure that we broadcast something that's spectacular because we know the content is going to be there. So come July 4th, when we come together and we do, I guess you can say a dedicated combined show because my boy Jared will come up to visit me here in the Pacific Northwest. But you're going to see how wonderful the setup is that I have. And then next week, you'll see how great his setup is. So we've done some changes within the last 2 weeks to bring a better quality show to the individuals that listen with us and share their opinions about the show. That was one opinion that we received, or a suggestion or critique. We need to better our light. And you know what? I think we're doing a damn good job based on this new setup that I have going. So, I hate to brag, but it's beautiful. So that's that. That's why we've been away for the last 2 weeks. So that's why it's been 2 weeks since we last broadcast. We took a week off, discussed some things, figured some things out, and you know what? Put it down on paper, and we wouldn't made those moves to get to where we are today. So now that that's out of the way, I would like to say Happy Father's Day to the fathers that are listening right now. Now, if I sent you a message yesterday, cool. I'm just reminding you again. Happy Father's Day. Hope you guys had a blast with your families. I know I did. I hate to brag, but my lady and my son, they took care of me. I want to go into a whole readout of everything that they done for me and how they made me feel. But I can't say I'm staring at my one of my number one of my favorite gifts that I received this weekend for Father's Day, and it's this nice here GoPro Hero Plus. If anybody know me, they know I'm a cheapskate. I'm a window shopper / cheapskate. I go to the stores 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, almost 30 times. I watch the item. I watch the price drop. I watch the price drop. I watch the price drop. As soon as it gets to the price that I think is worth, that's when I'll pay for it. But the price dropped so fast and dropped so quick that I was just like, well, man, I got priorities in my life. I can't just go all out and spend this money on something when I got a beautiful lady and a son at home. It dropped so fast that I wasn't ready. It dropped so fast that I wasn't ready to purchase it, that my lady and my son dropped it in my lap Saturday morning. Touched my heart. If you were around, you would have seen a few tears drop out of my eyes because it totally caught me off guard. And we began our Father's Day weekend in Tillamook, Oregon. If you're familiar with the Oregon coast, you're probably familiar with Tillamook. If you're someone that's in the beer world, you're probably familiar with Tillamook because of DeGard Brewing, which I think is by far, I guess, hands down to me, the number one brewery in Oregon. I think it's the number one in Oregon, not the number one overall between the two states, or the three states, I should say, Michigan, California, and Oregon. But here in Oregon, I think DeGard is the number one brewery, hands down. That's just my opinion. Excuse me. So if you're familiar with Tillamook, you know about DeGard Brewing, and you also know about the Tillamook Cheese Factory. So we figured we spend a nice weekend on the coast, probably do a little bit of hiking, check out the beach, have lunch, hit the cheese factory, go home. Now, let me ask you guys something. Have you ever been on a trip or gone on a trip and stumbled upon a place that totally changed your day in a positive way? I'll give you some time to think about that and answer it. Okay, well, if not, let me tell you about us. We're driving, entering the city of Tillamook, and on the side, there's sign advertisements, 2.5 miles, stop here, have this. 3 miles, stop there, have this. Well, we came upon a place called Blue Heron French Cheese Company. And the cool thing about this place, if you have kids, all right, not only do they have great wine, great cheese, great craft beers, it's a petting farm. So me and my lady were able to sit out. Beautiful weather on Saturday. We thought it was going to be a storm. That's why I was intrigued on going hiking. Hiking in the rain is great, but you thought it was going to be a storm. Weather was beautiful. We were able to sit out, have a drink of beer, have a drink of wine, have a nice lunch, and watch my son run around all this massive land. He wasn't in the way of anyone. No cars, no nothing. Just him, goats, peacocks, rams, chickens, and a gang of other animals that he had the opportunity to go out there and feed right from his hand. Drop the food there. Goats eating it right out of his hand. Peacock eating it right out of his hand. Chicken eating it right out of his hand. Ducks, the whole 9 yards. It's an awesome place. So if you have a family, if you're in town, it's a win-win. Make sure you stop there before you go anywhere, before you go to the cheesecake or the cheese factory, before you go to DeGard, before you go to the beach, before you do anything in Tillamook. Make sure you go stop there. And if you have a GoPro, make sure you capture all your events. This is an awesome gift. On top of that, awesome gift is my new awesome boom stand. You can't see that. It's in the picture a little bit, but it was an awesome gift that I received from my lady and my son, Marlena Kingston. I really appreciate it. Thank you. You guys showed me a lot of love. Showed me a lot of love, and I'm thankful. I'm thankful that I have the opportunity to have a nice lady, and we created a beautiful son. And I can thank God. I can thank my grandmother. I can thank my mom for allowing me to be a father. But most of all, I just want to thank Marlena for sticking by my side, being by my side, dealing with how I am as a father towards my son. Some things are good, some things are bad, some things she don't agree with. But deep down inside, she let me do what I do, and I enjoy it. And that was my weekend in a whole. So happy Father's Day. I'm not going to talk your head anymore. We're going to get into the show rundown and what's going on, because that's the number one reason why you're here. While you're here to listen to me talk sports, to watch me drink beer. Hopefully you're joining me with beer. And if you are, go ahead and hit me up on Facebook. Drop that in the comment section. If you're on Twitter, tweet me a picture of your beer. You can always follow me on Instagram, and you can also follow us on Tumblr if you want to drop a picture of what you're drinking tonight, if you aren't drinking the same thing that we're drinking. And what we're drinking tonight is going to be a beautiful American porter from Ballast Point called the Black Marlin. So we'll get into this in a quick second. But rundown tonight, obviously, we like to start our show with the best and worst of the weekend in terms of sport. What was the best thing that happened in sport? What was the worst thing that happened in sport? We get into our beer segment. Today, only one beer because it's one person. And then after that, we're going to go into the rundown, the NBA rundown. And when I mean the rundown of the NBA, I'm talking about the regular season, the playoffs, and the finals. And this is all going to be based off of my thoughts, because it's the day after the finals. So I'm sure you've had the opportunity to watch an ESPN segment, watch a First Take segment, listen to Mike and Mike in the morning, listen to some Colin Cowherd, listen to Jim Rome. You've had the opportunity to listen to the pros and listen to everything that they have to bring to the table. So now it's time for you guys to listen to my thought. So I had two guests lined up, and I know you guys probably think I'll be making this up about guests, but I did have two guests lined up, and something happened with them, and they're sorry. Sean, I know you're sorry. I know it's 106 degrees in San Diego, and you're trying to find a way to cool your room down. Take care of that, man. You can be on the show anytime. And my homeboy Nathan Nopes, a.k.a. Nasty Nate. Hey, you don't have to always watch sports to know what's going on, but you do have an opinion. And you know what? I can't wait to hear your opinion on the C&J Sports and Beer podcast soon. Don't rush it, but I can't wait to have you on soon. So for me, I guess I can say best part of the weekend. And I hate to say this, and I don't mean hate in a negative way. I mean, I hate to say this because if you're a fan of your team, of any team, Los Angeles Lakers, behind me and on my chest, when another team win the championship, you could care less about it or couldn't care less about it. To be, I guess, grammatically correct, hashtag Marlena Bennett. But for me, the best part of the weekend was the Cleveland Cavaliers bringing a championship to Cleveland, ending the 52-year drought. LeBron James and company, they set a plan. It didn't work out last year for them. They came back with that same plan this year. They worked hard to get to the ending results. And when the ending results, what they wanted at the end was smack dab right in their face. They accomplished it. And they won a championship, and they brought a championship to Cleveland. So shout out to Cleveland and the Cavaliers and the individuals who support and represent the Cleveland Cavaliers. Kudos to you guys. That probably was the best part of my weekend. Watching LeBron James last year and this year work towards something with the team that is pretty good in the East, but not great overall. I mean, you have some individuals when they start ranking all the teams completely in the NBA. Some individuals have Cleveland outside of the top three. Some of them have them right there at number 5 or even outside of number 5, just depending on what they're looking for. But me, I have them right at the fourth best team in the entire NBA, which isn't great. It's not bad either. So best part of the weekend was feeling and understanding how the Cavs feel after knowing that they are the champions during the 2015-2016 season. Now, worst of the weekend, and this is sad. I mean, I hate to say this, especially since this individual is a 2-time MVP back to back this year, unanimous MVP. Worst of the weekend is Steph Curry's Game 7 performance. It was atrocious. Now, if you rewind what I just said, back-to-back league MVP, was on quest to repeat as a champion, on quest to go down as the best NBA season team in history, single season team in history, on quest for that. Get my notes here straight for you guys. He goes 6 for 19 from the field, 4 for 14 from deep. He had 5 boards. Was it 2 boards, 5 assists, 4 turnovers, 4 fouls, 17 points. Now, honestly, I expected a better performance from Curry. Now, I'm sure he had a lot on his mind. His wife sent out the bogus tweet. Game 7 at home in front of your crowd. Back-to-back titles, 73-9. NBA single season record. And Curry was just average. And I expected more. I was listening to the radio earlier, and a couple guys was like, well, he scored 17 points. Well, I'm like, and I mean, Curry can score 17 points in his sleep. But outside, I want to say game 4, he was god awful during this seasons. Or this 7-game series, not the season, but he was god awful. I guess you can say during the season. During this season, at some point during this season, i.e. the NBA Finals, Steph Curry was god awful. I think he had one good game. That was game 4. Other than that, he'll probably go down as I want to say I can think of 2 or 3 individuals off the top of my head that won the MVP and they had a horrible finals, and Jordan was one of them. They won in 6 games against the Utah Jazz. I think that was the 96-97 season, if I'm not mistaken. Kobe, MVP 2008. They lost in 6 games against the Celtics. Horrible performance in the finals. And I think you can throw John Stockton on that list as well. And they lost. So It was totally unexpected. I didn't see that coming. I didn't think it would possibly happen. I honestly thought he was going to ball out, but I was wrong. So that's the worst part of the weekend. Steph Curry and his fourth quarter performance and his overall finals performance, but that fourth quarter was just bad. So I'm getting a little dry at the mouth. I don't know about you guys. What you guys drinking on? Hopefully you're drinking on something good. But like I said, if you're drinking on something nice, go ahead and tweet that to me or hit me up on Facebook in a comment of the link that I share for the show. But I'm going to be having this Ballast Point Black Marlin Porter. And this Black Marlin Porter on Beer Advocate gives it a score of 89 out of 100. It's available all year round, so you know it's not seasonal. It's something you can get all year round. American Star Porter coming in at 6%. See if I can get a good pour for you guys here. Some nice, some real nice. It's about an inch and a half ahead. You think? That looks real good. Now I've had this plenty of times. This isn't the first time, but it's a nice deep brown, nice foamy head as you can see. Not too heavy. You know, some porters you can smell they're really heavy, but it's nice, nice with a little hint of caramel. You can get the hops roasty, I would say. Citrusy, coffee bitterness, malt, chocolatey, creamy a bit. I can rock with this, and I'm gonna have to rock with this tonight because this is the one. This is the one. Okay, so tonight, like I said, my guests were gonna be my buddy Rashawn Blyden, brother from another, big time LeBron James fan, and I mean he's a big time LeBron James. You know how you have those individuals that they're LeBron James fans, but they're also the fan of the team he plays on. So whenever he leaves from one team to the next, they're a big fan of that team. But this guy, Rashawn Bladden, my homeboy, he's a LeBron James fan. That's it. He doesn't necessarily root for the team that LeBron James is on. He's just a LeBron James fan. That's his favorite player. LeBron James is his favorite team. He's also a big baseball fan. So that's one reason why I would like him on the show, because I mean, he knows baseball like the back of his hand. He's a big time baseball guy. He's a big time baseball stats guy. And he's one of the guys that I know that will sit and watch a baseball game from start to finish on TV. He's also one of the guys I know that will start a baseball franchise on the video game and play it until this guy's like in his 12th season. So, I mean, he's a diehard baseball guy and he's a brother. And I know that doesn't mean much, but I mean, in these days, it's hard to get young African-American men into baseball. And he's been loving it all of his life. He's a DJ. So if you need someone to DJ your wedding, your birthday, your quinceañera, your bar mitzvah, he's there. He's an artist. He's a visionary, and he's overall a great friend. So you guys are going to miss out on him today, but like I said, he will return. And another one of my guests that we're going to be on was my buddy Nopes. And we met each other when we were in the service, as I would say, you know, went to boot camp together, went to supply school together, went to the same duty station, and we've been friends since then. So, you know, you're going to miss out on these guys. But like I said, they're going to touch base and they're going to be with us soon. So we're just going to get into it. You know, we're going to get into it here, and we're going to go ahead and discuss the NBA season in a rundown. And when I say rundown, I mean my rundown. You know, I'm going to talk about the things that I enjoyed throughout this whole entire NBA season, starting with number one, my Los Angeles Lakers, 17-65. Kobe ends his 20th season. He retires. Lakers fire Byron Scott. Hire Luke Walton, received the second pick in 2016 draft, $67+ million to spend this offseason. I expect big things and great things for my Lakers moving forward, starting with the 2016-2017 season. Will they be champions? No. Will they be the fourth best team? No. Will they be on the outside looking in around that 8, 9, 7, 6 seed? I think so. Living here in Portland, I root for the local team. Everywhere I live, I'm going to root for the local team. When I was down in San Diego, I rooted for those stinky Chargers, rooted for the Padres, rooted for all the college teams around there. I coach high school basketball. I'm going to support local. The Blazers went from being a lottery pick to the fifth best team in the West. And that's after losing 4 starters, legitimate starters on their team. They lost 4 starters. They were, I believe, the 5th seed last year with 4 starters on that team. They lost those 4 starters. They were the 5th seed this year. So that's great. I mean, they eliminated the Clippers out of the playoffs. And being a Lakers fan, it's always great when the Clippers get bounced because they are, how can I put it? A disappointment, a letdown. That beautiful girl that looks great when she have makeup on, but then when she take the makeup off, you're like, I'm good. They're horrible. I hate the Clippers. I hate everything about the Clippers. So if they can get bounced, and if they ever in a position to get bounced out of anything, I'm going to be there clapping my hand. And I'm glad the Portland Trailblazers were the individuals to do it. I'm glad. Lillard killed it. CJ McCollum's need to get paid. So Blazers, I support you. I'm going to continue to support you, and I'm going to be there at Moda Center this year. You guys brought me a lot of fun along with my Lakers this 2015-16 season. OKC is a part of my NBA season rundown. They were my finals pick. And they had a shaky up and down season, but they stuck together. And they have 2 of, I would say, the best 5 players on that team. KD, if you're watching this, I know you are. We were texting earlier. Stay in OKC. Billy Donovan, figure out the point guard situation. There's got to be some changes there because you guys are a great team. And outside of, I would say, the Warriors collapse and the finals, OKC collapse is probably the second worst collapse during this 2015-16 NBA season. That collapse you guys had against the Warriors was just horrible. But like I said, I expect KD to return. I expect point guard changes. I expect them to be the second best team in the NBA. And I mean the entire NBA. I expect them to be right up there. And the odds came out today on teams that have the best chances to win the championship next year. And they have Golden State, Cleveland. I think the OKC is 3rd or 4th on that list, near the same position they were last year. I think some changes need to be made because I'm putting them at the top of my list. Spurs, they're on my NBA season rundown. OLD, hashtag Danny Brown. They're old. They need to figure something out. Golden State, on my NBA season rundown. Best regular season team in the history of the NBA. Cavs, NBA season rundown. They equal drama, equal we're not friends, equal new coach, equal more drama, equal walk through the East, equal get worked by 48 minutes times 2, bounce back, below game 4. Draymond Green is out of game 5 on the road equals winning. Game 6 at home equals winning. Game 7 on the road equals NBA champions. And my last team on my NBA season rundown, I'm going to have to go with the home team, the Detroit Pistons. The NBA feels, they feel you coming. The feeling is there. They can hear you. They can smell you. Sooner or later, you're going to be touching them. And I can see the Pistons being better than the 8th seed team in the East. I see them being in the middle of the pack. So NBA season rundown, there it is. That was the rundown of the NBA season, in my opinion, and what I enjoyed the most and what I most paid attention to. Now, my thoughts on the playoffs. What can I say about the Eastern Conference? I don't always say this about basketball because basketball is my favorite sport. But the Eastern Conference playoff was straight up boring. It was whack. The Miami Heat kept things interesting. Now, although they went down to the Toronto Raptors, they kept things really interesting. And a healthy Bosch on the Miami Heat squad versus the Cavs in an Eastern Conference Finals would have been great. But we didn't see that. And we got to see the Toronto Raptors go and be who the Toronto Raptors are. I honestly praised them a lot throughout the season because I want to say it had to be mid-November, early December. A report came out that said something in the words of DeMar DeRozan, a.k.a. Los Angeles Lakers. Now, excuse me, him being from Los Angeles, hometown guy, played at USC, it sounded great. And you look at his career numbers, he's not a horrible player. He's a good player. He can be great, but he's not elite. And I was on his bandwagon. And when the playoffs started, I started to fall off his bandwagon because he is just not as exciting as I thought he was in those games that I've watched the Toronto Raptors play. He's just average. And this will probably be the second time in my life that I gave my homeboy or that a time where I will give my homeboy Jarrett credit. But you're right, Jarrett. He's garbage. And I don't want to say he's garbage in a sense that he can't play. He's just garbage in terms of elite. He's not garbage in the great or good area, but when we're talking elite, he's straight up garbage. And the Lakers wouldn't be any better with him. He'll give you a solid 18 boards. He'll go out there and he'll perform night in and night out, but he's not going to be box office. He's not going to be someone that will all out win a game for you. Now, there's been times throughout the season and even in the playoffs that he played to a level where you're like, you know what, man, maybe I should reconsider what I said about him. And then he'll come in the next game and he'll be that guy who's just going to just be that guy. Nothing spectacular. So a Miami Heat and Cleveland Cavaliers Eastern Conference Finals would have been great. We were stuck with the Cleveland Cavaliers, Toronto Raptors, and we know what happened in that series. The Western Conference Finals kept my attention going. The Blazers, like I said, Portland was great. It was great to have basketball in this city for 2 rounds because earlier in the season they were supposed to be a lottery team. And in a city like this with, I guess you can say, you got one major sport being NBA basketball, and you have the Timbers. But in a city where there's only one major sports team, when that team can rally together, perform together, and push and push and push and push and make things happen, that's great. The city loved the fact that the Blazers were back in the mix because, like I said, in the beginning of the season, people thought they were going to be a lottery pick, and it got to the point I was being pressured to buy tickets so bad and receiving a discount because they were afraid that they weren't going to be able to sell tickets to the game because the Blazers were on paper going to be horrible. But Dame Lillard, CJ McCollum, and Terry Stotts and Neil O'Shea, they came together and they made something great. So it was great to see what the Blazers were able to do in the Western Conference. It was also great watching the Clippers blow yet another opportunity. So, I mean, injuries happen, yes, but the opportunity was blown for them when Blake Griffin decided to punch out, his best friend, an employee of the company. So, I mean, that was that. No one second guessed the Warriors until they were down 3-1 to OKC. Okay. Now, however, everyone second guessed the ability of Kevin Durant and Westbrook to handle the Spurs. Westbrook and Durant took care of business with the Spurs, treated them like they were nothing, ran all over them, and proved why I and others still call the Spurs old. I mean, old. I had a conversation with a couple of my buddies. I want to say maybe like January, February time. We were talking about, who's going to represent the West, who's going to be there, who's going to be there. And at this point, I can't necessarily say I was rooting for the Clippers, but In the West, the only team that match up great against the Golden State Warriors is the Los Angeles Clippers. So, my argument was they match up great, they can make something happen. And well, two individuals I know have basically said Golden State will run all over them, and Greg Popovich is too smart of a coach to let the Clippers beat them or let OKC beat them. And I was just like, well, you know what? I picked OKC to win it all. So I'm not going to agree with you there, but I do think a combination of Westbrook and Kevin Durant can challenge anyone in the NBA, any team in the NBA, and they showed that against the Spurs. Now, we all know what happened against Golden State. They were up 3-1 and they turned into the same old Oklahoma City Thunder that we all know. Blowing fourth quarter leads, turning the ball over too many times, turning the ball over too many times in the fourth quarter with less than 3 minutes left in the game. Something that ruined them in game 6 and game 7. So, I mean, Oklahoma City gave everything to Spurs, and the Spurs weren't able to take what they were given, so they were bounced. But they also gave everything to the Golden State Warriors, but they also gave end of the game turnovers. They gave a little bit of too much hero ball to where it didn't work, and Golden State took everything that the Thunder gave them, turned it into something positive, came back from a 3-1 deficit, won the series in 4 games at home on their court. So when it all said and done, Billy Donovan coached his rear off. Kevin Durant was on point until he wasn't on point. Westbrook became an autoimmune disease, and the Warriors proved why they were the defending champs. And I guess you can say, like I said, the best team in the NBA in terms of regular season. Now, my thoughts on the finals. Wow, I can't believe the finals is over. One, but my thoughts on the finals. Obviously, prior to the season started, a friend of mine hit me up through text, and we were chatting. My homeboy Rashawn, he was like, "So who you got?" And part of me honestly wanted to roll with the Golden State Warriors because I like I like when individuals repeat because I was around to watch Shaq, Kobe, Phil, and the Lakers win 3 of them joints in a row. I was around to watch Kobe and Powell and Phil win 2 of those joints in a row. And I want to say when I really started watching basketball and understanding it, I was around to watch Jordan and the Bulls and Pippen and Phil win 3 in a row. So I like when individuals can go ahead and excuse me, win it on multiple occasions, especially back to back, three-peats, and all that good stuff. Some people say, "Oh, I'm getting sick and tired of seeing the same team win." Well, you feel that way because your team isn't winning. But for me, since 2000, my team has been a champion 5 times. They've been to the finals, what, 7 times? So it's been a good thing for me. So I don't mind seeing teams win it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 multiple times. But my pick this year was for the Oklahoma City Thunder to go ahead, make it to the Western Conference Finals, beat whoever was going to be that team they were facing. And how it was set up, it would have been the Golden State Warriors. Take care of business there. See the Cleveland Cavaliers in the finals because we knew that the Cavs were going to just walk through the Eastern Conference. So I honestly didn't have a dog in the fight in terms of who's going to win it between Golden State and the Cavs. I wanted an OKC versus Cleveland. I wanted the 2012 rematch. I didn't get that. I ended up getting the 2015 rematch. So for the sake of this show and what we do in terms of speaking sports, I decided to roll with the Cavs. I decided to roll with my man LeBron James. I thought I was going to be burning this candle because I figured that, they were going to lose and get bounced. So, time to burn the candle and reminisce of the good old days. But like I said, I decided to roll with the Cavs, and not because I'm a diehard Cavs fan or I was jumping on the bandwagon. I'm a huge fan, or I don't want to say I'm a huge fan of LeBron James, but I am a fan of LeBron James. I think I was born during a time that put me in a position to be a part of the Kobe era. I'm a huge fan of Kobe. He's my second favorite player in the history of the game. Magic Johnson is my favorite player in the history of the game. But I think LeBron James is dope. I think LeBron James is great for the NBA. I think he carries himself to the highest of the highest standards. And I also thought another finals loss for LeBron James wouldn't be great for him. So I was rooting for him to win and better his finals record. I didn't necessarily fall into the hype of bringing a championship to Cleveland because they haven't won a championship in 52 years. I don't care. I mean, there's a handful of other cities out there that haven't won a championship in multiple years. That doesn't mean squat. It means maybe a lot to the fans, but to me, it didn't really mean anything. So it's because I didn't want an individual like LeBron James, as great as he is, to go down or in this season with, I guess you would say, a 2-5 NBA Finals record. And when we talk about LeBron James and we speak about the stats and we speak about how he's able to go out there and play every position, and we speak about how he makes his teammates better. We speak of all these great things. And when we speak bad things about him, it's because he may have fell apart in a NBA Finals game, or the fact that he's been to 6 of them and he's only won it 2 times. So his record, I think, means a lot, not only to me, but a lot of other individuals out there. That was one of their number one reasons why, we're pulling for LeBron James and the Cavs, because he's too great of a player to have a finals record that is 2-4, or that would have been 2-5 if the Cavs wouldn't have gotten it done. So in my eyes, each player is great in multiple ways, and we choose we choose and we decide based on what we think of that individual, how great of a player they are based on XYZ. And every great player is defined in a story, or words or write-ups are told why this individual is great because of this, that, and the third. And when it comes to LeBron James, they list all these things why he's a great player. And something that they think is haunting him is his NBA Finals record. And like I mentioned 45 seconds ago, number one thing why a lot of individuals were picking the Cavs to win, because they thought when LeBron James came back to Cleveland and he said he wanted to bring a championship back home, they really thought he was going to do it. They believe he could do it. He put himself in a position 2 times to do it. The first time it didn't work, second time it worked. So they were pushing for him because he made a promise to a city, but also he made a promise to make himself better, and him doing that would allow us to not necessarily pay attention to his finals record. So now he's sitting at 3-4, which isn't bad, isn't great, but it's good, because he has the second best odd, he and his team, to win the championship next year. So he's building on something. But for me, the reason why I said I'm going to roll with the Cavs is because I didn't want LeBron James to go down as probably he'll go down as a top 10 player of all time. He'll be the reason why Kobe Bryant isn't in the top 10. And I respect that. But I didn't want LeBron James to start the 2016-2017 season 2-5 in the NBA Finals. I didn't want that to happen. So, like I said, that's the number one reason why I picked LeBron James and the Cavs to go ahead and win it all. That's why I picked them. Things got shaky. I kind of was on the edge of my seat, about to be wrong. two times in 1 year making picks for who's going to win and who's not going to win, but things turned out great. And the Cavs, hey, they messed around and they won. So that's the reason why I picked the Cavs. So now that you've been rocking with me through my NBA 2015-2016 rundown, I'm going to jump on a break really quick. And when I come back here in the next segment, I'm gonna discuss the NBA Finals and a few questions that were sent to me via Tumblr from some fans and a couple individuals on our Google Plus page. Wanted to pose a few questions tonight for myself and the guests that I'm going to have on. I'm going to answer those questions for the fans. I'm calling them fans or my family members because I think it's important, and obviously they're going to be listening tonight and they're going to want to hear my answer to their question. So we're going to go on a quick break here. We're going to return shortly. Bear with us. See you soon. And I'm enjoying the time I'm having with you guys.
I've had my share of the sleepless nights. It's over easy and infomercials. I dropped some beds, but I got nowhere to go. See all the faces, not impressed. I see better acting, I just rehearsals. Give me a reason why I should take this floor. I raise my drink to you. We'll take that chance away. Red Bull and vodka makes me terrible. My share of the cuts and scars, but I use peroxide to hide the bleeding. Pounding the concrete until you beg for more. Dare you to push me, I'm on the edge, but I use some morphine to keep on beating. Red Bull and vodka until I'm on the floor. I bring my drink to you. Red Bull and vodka, we'll drink what you can away. I bring my drink to you. Red Bull and vodka makes me feel alive. Makes me feel alive.
Yo, we're back. That was a song called Red Bull and Vodka by a band in Southern California called Jack's Last Bullets. My homeboy RJ is the drummer for that band, so I figured I'd show him some love today. But we're back, and there were a few questions, like I said, that were posted to me via Twitter, via Tumblr. And it was supposed to be a group effort between me and my homeboys. We're going to answer some of these questions, but I'm going to go ahead and answer some of these questions in terms of, the game. or the 7-game series between the Golden State Warriors and the Cleveland Cavaliers. So, question one is, who did you have winning and why? So, if you listened to me about 30 seconds ago, a minute ago, 2 minutes ago, when I was speaking before the break, I gave my take and who I wanted to win the 2015-16 NBA championship. So, it was the Cavs. I picked the Cavs to win. The Cavs took care of business. In no way, shape, form, or fashion did I pick the Cavs at the beginning of the season. They were the pick that I made when my pick was bounced by the defending champ. So that's why I picked the Cavs. It was just me picking the Cavs because, like I said, I wanted to see LeBron James win. I didn't want to see another L in the column for his NBA Finals record. So that's why. Question is, after the Cavs went down 2-0, did you think it was over based on the fact they lost 104-89 in game 1 and 110-77 in game 2? No, I didn't think it was over because what's the quote or the saying? The finals hasn't really started until the road team gets a victory. So the fact that the Golden State Warriors won game 1 and game 2, I said this every time a game was won, and even if it was a blowout or a close win, my thing is the home team did what they had to do. It was Cleveland's job to win on the road. It was Golden State's job to protect home, and they did that twice. They did it twice. And you couldn't have thought it was over. And even if you thought it was over, your mind probably changed after game 3 because the Cavs came out guns blazing. Now things changed in game 4, but if you thought it was over after blowouts in game 1 and game 2, then you didn't think it was over after the Cavs won game 3. So I didn't think it was over for the Cavs. I didn't think the Cavs were done. When the Warriors went up 3-1, did you think the Cavs would win game 5, even in the absence of Draymond Green? To be honest, no. I didn't think the Cavs would win game 5 for the simple fact they would have to play on the road. Now, granted, Draymond Green is probably the number 3 or 2.5 guy on that team, and missing him is huge. But the Warriors, they were at home, and they have guys on that team that can step up. You know, when Curry and Clay can't get it done, and Draymond Green can't get it done, you have Iguodala, you got Barbosa, and you got my man Sean Livingston that will come in and give you buckets. Spates will come in and give you buckets. Harrison Barnes is still a great player on that team that will come in and give you buckets. So me, just like a lot of people, I just thought everyone on that team would step up, and him missing that game wouldn't be a problem. So when the Warriors were up 3-1, did I think the Cavs would win? No, I didn't think they would win at all. I thought they would go on the road and it would be over for them because the home crowd would be there, because unlike a lot of people in Oakland and outside of Oakland, especially in Michigan, they didn't think Draymond Green should have been suspended. So I didn't think the Cavs would win that game. Next question here is, what do you think was the turning point during the series? I guess the turning point during the series was the Cavs winning game 5, because you win game 5 on the road, you build up all this momentum. And now you know your next game is going to be at home. You'll get max performance from your bench at home. You won't get that same performance from your bench on the road because the coach, he normally shifts the rotation and only plays 6, 7, 8 guys. That's it. But when you're at home, you can go deep into your bench. You can go all the way to the last guy on your bench because they're going to be motivated to play for the crowd. So I think the turning point of the series was game 5. When the Cavs won game 5, they had all that momentum. They had all that time off to go home in a game 6 and take care of business, in which they did. So that was the turning point for me. The turning point was game 5. The Cavs winning game 5 and turning around and winning game 6 and turning around again and winning game 7. Okay, here's one now. Now this is a live one right here on Twitter. This is live. When Kyrie took that 3 with less than 60 seconds left, what went through your mind? I was watching that. I can like relive because I'm sitting like 4 or 5 feet away from where I sat during the game. And when he took that shot, Curry was on him. He defended him well. And I thought it was wrong for him to take that shot, especially since it was less than it was what, like 53 seconds or something left in the game. And the score had been 89-89 since like the 4.5 minute mark. So they went 3.5 minutes without scoring a bucket. So for him to take that shot, that's probably like the wrong shot. You come out better taking a shot that's closest to the basket because you may get that call that isn't a call, but a referee can call it, or they may not call it, or you can just force the game into overtime because Golden State will be forced to take a wild shot. And the fact they shot the ball horrible in the fourth quarter, especially the last 4.5 minutes, it would have been in your favor. So when he shot the ball, I was like, what are you doing? And the camera angle caught up to the ball and it went in. And then it was 92-89. And I had to channel into my Mark Jackson. Great defense, better offense, because he knocked that basket down and I didn't expect him to knock the basket down. It kind of reminded me of that game 7 between my Los Angeles Lakers and the Golden State Celtics, the Boston Celtics. No one wanted Ron Artest to take the first 3-pointer and he knocked it down. No one wanted him to take the second 3-pointer and he knocked it down. And it was because of Ron Artest catching fire late in the game, which put the Lakers, or which kind of gave Kobe Bryant, a pep in his step. And it put them in a position to go ahead and close the Celtics out at home to win Kobe's 5th championship. So that's what it felt like. It was one of those shots where you get ready and shoot, and the coach and everyone is yelling, no, 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 no. But when it goes in, everyone like, yeah, 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 I knew you can make it. So that's how I felt. What was going through my mind is I wouldn't have took that shot. Why is he taking that shot? And he nailed it. So I thought it was the wrong shot to take. However, after the shot went in, and you get to see the playback because the timeout was immediately called, you'd be like, well, the Warriors couldn't hit anything in the fourth quarter anyways. The Cavs were +9 rebounds for the game. So if you do miss that deep shot, it's probably a long rebound. And the fact that the Cavs out-rebounded the Warriors throughout the whole entire game, a lot throughout the series, it was in their favor. So, I thought it was a bad idea, but he knocked it down. So you can only applaud him for knocking the shot down. Question here is, what did you make of the last Golden State possession? What did you make? Well, I guess for me, I would have to go back to, like I said, it was 89-89 from the 4.5 minute mark until Kyrie hit the 3-pointer. LeBron James hit the free throw, and the score was, 89-93. So their last bucket tied the game. So that was at the 4-minute and 39 mark, 4:40, somewhere around there, 4.5 minutes left in the game. Klay Thompson, I believe he got a layup in, and that tied the game. From then on, every possession after that was horrible. And if you look at the play-by-play, or even if you watch the game, I think they missed 8 to 10 of their last 10 possessions, they missed 9 of them. And that the possession or the basket they made was the Klay Thompson layup to tie the game. So they were just dead awful. They missed 9 buckets. The star of that team, the 2-time MVP, went 0 for 4. And it wasn't 0 for 4, he missed a little jump shots or he missed a layup and went to the free throw line, missed free throws. He shot 4 3-point shots that were all the way off. I'm talking the 3-point baskets you see someone shoot at 24-hour fitness who all they do is shoot 3-pointers. And you get them on your team, you're just ready to go sit on the ground because you know you're about to lose because this dude is about to come out and shoot 3-pointer after 3-pointer after 3-pointer after 3-pointer after 3-pointer just because. As a team, the Warriors went 0-9 in the fourth quarter during the last 4.5 minutes. Steph Curry missed 4 times. All of those buckets he shot were 3-pointers. He was god awful in the last 4.5 minutes of the game. And that's when you expected him to be the Steph Curry that he's capable of being. And like I said earlier in the podcast, it was probably, I would say, top 5 worst performance by an MVP who won it that season. Let us refresh. Is refreshing. Okay. Do you think the Warriors choked or was it just an epic collapse? I'm guessing if you consider there's a difference between choking and a collapse, I'm not going to say they choked. I'm going to say it was just an epic collapse. I'm not going to say they choked because if I said they choked, then that would be me stating that the Cavs aren't a good team. But the Cavs, they're a pretty damn good team because LeBron James is still playing and he's still, in my eyes, we're trying to crown Steph Curry, but I still think LeBron James is the best player in the NBA. And after him, I'm going to have to roll with my man Kevin Durant. That's just me. But I think it was more of a collapse. I think it was a collapse. And I mean, you got to think about it. They've been through a lot this season. They're back-to-back champions. They won 73 games. Curry didn't play as well throughout these NBA finals. He didn't really play as well throughout the finals last year. They were missing Andrew Bogut. What else? Iguodala didn't seem like he was healthy. And sometimes Steph Curry didn't seem like he was healthy. And plus the Cavaliers were putting him in positions that the Warriors, I guess you can say, they hadn't been in. The Cavs played fantastic defense. They made sure every time Steph Curry went around a screen, somebody nailed his body. A body was put on he was being pushed around. They bullied him. So it got to the point where he was just off his game. So I'm not going to say they choked because, like I said, when I was listening to the radio, he scored 17 points. I mean, he scored 17 points. Some guys can't score 17 points in 30, 35 minutes throughout the entire game. So he still went out there and performed. It's not like he went out there and laid a big fat goose egg. They went out there and they played. They played well. Draymond Green played well. Klay Thompson added 14 points. In some situations, you can say that maybe Coach Kerr should have, I don't know, changed his lineup, changed his roster, done something because there were times where Festus Ezeli was in a game and it looked like he was playing for the Cavaliers, but he had a Golden State Warriors jersey on. I'm not going to say they choked. It was just a collapse. Same thing with the Oklahoma City Thunder. They got so far doing what they're used to doing and it was working till it didn't work. So you look at the Golden State Warriors, they got to the top where Curry can throw up those wild shots. And every shot that's a bad shot for him is a great shot. But if anyone else took that shot, it was a bad shot. And those shots that he would normally take and normally not knock down, it just didn't work. So they couldn't score in the fourth quarter. I believe they only scored 13 points in the fourth quarter. I can't recall a time where I've watched a game that Golden State as a team scored 13 points. I mean, they have guys that can score 13 points in a quarter just by themselves. Klay Thompson dropped 37 points in a quarter by himself. So they're capable of doing fantastic things. They just couldn't get it done. So it was more of a collapse to me than a choke. A choke. I can't remember the last time a team choked. I guess I cannot lie. The last time, and this is a hit on the Los Angeles Clippers, the last time a team choked, to me, was the Clippers. When they were up against the Rockets and they let the Rockets come all the way back. And the Clippers were a far better team than the Rockets. The Clippers were the team that many picked to represent the Western Conference before Golden State had something to do with that after they beat up on the Rockets. So that's the last time a team in the NBA has choked. So I'm not going to say it was a choke. I'm going to say it was more of an epic collapse. I like that though, epic collapse. Do you think comments from Curry haunted him yesterday? And I'm guessing the comments were from December 2015. Cavs and Warriors. If you recall, before the Cavs and Warriors faced each other for the first time since Game 6 in 2015 NBA Finals, Curry said, obviously, walking in the locker room, it'll be good memories. Hopefully, it still smells a little bit like champagne. I don't think those comments haunted him. He said those comments all the way in December. I mean, he's still feeding off the fact that the last time they were in that building, they won the championship and they were able to celebrate on the Cavs floor. So I guess in hindsight, did those words haunt him because the Cavs were able to celebrate on the Warriors court? I guess if you look at it that way, but I mean, he was asked the question and he was still reminisce on the time that he was the last there. So I don't think those words haunted him. Here's another question here. Do you think Draymond Green would do it all over again using the B word? Do you think any NBA player will use the B word again towards LeBron James? And the B word is bitch. Obviously, LeBron James was a little upset because Draymond Green called him a bitch. Excuse my language. The Warriors are 0-3 since 0-3 facing LeBron James since he was called a B in Game 4. He averaged 36 points, almost 10 assists, and 12 boards. Do I think? I don't know. It's trash talk. They're going to call him whatever they want to call him. Now, I mean, you mean to tell me if someone called LeBron James the B word, that's going to fuel him to play well? Well, if that's the case, the Cavs and the players on the Cavs should encourage or put players of the opposing team in a position to call LeBron James a B, because if he can score 36 points and drop 10 dimes and 12 boards a game for 82 games, then they're going to be hard to deal with in a 7-game series. And they'll probably repeat for a very long time if he's fueled by being called a bitch. Okay. So that's a funny question. Who is to blame? Curry, injuries, or were the Cavs just better? I'm gonna say it's a mix of things. It's a mix. I would say it's a mix of things. You can't just place the blame on Coach Kerr because the players have to go out there and play. And there's thousands of times not only in the finals, but in games within the last 2 years where he let his players go out there and play. So that's it. He let his players go out there and play. Maybe he should have tightened up a bit, but his players have been A1 for him. So I don't think it's Kerr's fault. I'm gonna throw a little bit of the blame on Steph Curry, only for the simple fact Draymond Green was on fire in the first half. I mean, they couldn't find the guy in the second half. They couldn't find him in the fourth quarter when they needed him, when Curry was out there taking shots that he shouldn't have been taking. So I'm gonna place some of the blame on him. I'll place some of the blame on Kerr because coaching, I think he should have done a better job. How can I managing the game yesterday? I don't think he managed the game, and this is just my opinion. I'm not an NBA coach. I've only coached at the high school level, and the high school level to the NBA level is night and day. So maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, but based on what I watched on the TV, following a Twitter feed, listening to these guys who report on sports, who coach sports, who are around players more than I am, they all felt the same way. Like, what is Coach Kerr doing? He's not doing things he would normally do. He's not making adjustments. He's just letting these guys go out there and play. And something felt kind of off, not only with Kerr, but with his players as well. Now, Draymond Green didn't feel off for him because he was out there. He was balling. I mean, he was balling. I mean, if you check my Facebook feed, when I posted, he was the MVP of the first half, and I was expecting him to go out and be a monster again in the second half, but they somehow couldn't get the ball to him. And when you're Curry, as good of a point guard, a marksman, a shooter as you can normally hit everybody, but you only have 4 assists. So it felt like, to me, it felt like he wasn't out there looking to get buckets, and he was out there trying to go out there and perform himself because he needs to prove that he's a leader and he's the best player on the team, since we're putting him in a position to be the best player in the NBA. And he didn't win the MVP last year, so that's probably something he was looking forward to doing. I don't know, but I'm placing some of the blame on him. Injuries, I think injuries is a big thing. I mean, not having Bogut there as a rim protector, it just opened up a lot of things for Cleveland. And as you can see, LeBron James, he did a few times settle for a jump shot when he should have just drove to the basket. But a lot of his buckets he was scoring, in especially in game 6 and game 7, they were straight to the basket because it had no one there that could legitimately protect the rim. I mean, you had no one there. So when Bogut went out, it was open seasons for LeBron James. We're just going to drive to the basket. No one can stop me. You stand in front of me, I'm going to knock you over. Most likely it's going to be a blocking foul. I'm going to be shooting free throws, and I can knock down my free throws when needed. I had those troubles earlier in my career, but I'm all good with that right now. So injuries was a big thing for the Golden State Warriors. And I mean, I can't say the Cavs are better, because I don't necessarily think the Cavs are a better team than the Golden State Warriors. I think the Cavaliers were the better team in this series, but overall, when healthy, the Warriors are the best team in the NBA this season. So I don't think the Cavs were just better. They played better in that game 7 and the game 6, and definitely in game 5. They just played better. But are they the best team overall? I don't think so. So it was a whole boiling pot of things, or blame placing, or why this happened to why that happened. It was a whole group of things that happened to why the Warriors couldn't get it done. Okay, I think, all right, that's it. That's all of our questions right there. All right, so I guess I can start the wrap up period. Those were some good questions. Oh, just one second. If you guys ever want to submit questions to the show, you can hit me up on Twitter, obviously, and I'll get that information to you at the end. Or if you got the invite page, you'll see that. When I share the link on Facebook, you can send questions to Facebook. You can also drop those questions on our Google Plus page, and you can also follow the blog that I post once or twice a week on sports on Tumblr. You can find all that information if you want to drop questions for us. But we got about 3 viewers right now. And viewers out there, you can answer this question via Facebook. But before I let you guys go, here's question number 1. Do you think we will see another Cavs versus Warriors NBA Finals? Do you think we'll see another one? Does this loss hurt the Warriors? Now, don't talk about their legacy. Don't talk about the 7-3-9 and not winning the finals. Does this hurt the Warriors? And the reason why I say that is because Luke Walton is leaving. I think Harrison Barnes is leaving, and I think Hephaestus Ezeli is leaving. I actually hope those 2 players leave and join the Los Angeles Lakers. I hope that happens. Why? We can have that conversation on another day. But do you think this loss hurts the Warriors? Because a few months ago, we were talking as in this is the next dynasty. And they don't have to necessarily pay anyone big money until I think the following season when Kerr. So I don't know if they're going to look to pay him this year or if they're going to wait until next year to pay him. But he's a free agent next year. So does this hurt them and their process to move along and get better and be that dynasty that we thought they were going to be? And third question is, does LeBron James leave and move on? Because he's a free agent. So question number 1, will we see a repeat of the Cavaliers versus the Warriors? Will we see the trifecta? They're 1-1 now, 1-1. who's going to win the best out of three? Will we see that NBA Finals matchup again? Number two, does this loss really hurt the Warriors, or is it just they lost, whatever? Life goes on. We're the defending champs. We still have our core. We still can make something happen. We still can be better next year. And does this put LeBron James in a position to leave and move on? Because he said he wanted to bring a championship to Cleveland. He brought the championship to Cleveland. It's different from when he was in Miami. He said, you know, not only are we going to win one championship, we're going to win two, we're going to win three, we're going to win four, we're going to win multiple championships. So he brought a championship to Cleveland. He brought a championship home. That's what he wanted to do. Is LeBron staying or is he going? And that's it. That's it. Another solo show in the book, or books, because, you know, C&J Sports and Beer Podcast, we're going to be around for a while. Stay tuned. Next week, Jared returns, episode number 9. Episode number 9. We're trying to do something big for episode number 10, so please be back next week for episode number 9. If you were with us 2 weeks ago, we had a conversation on summer beers, and there was a lineup. If you want to know more about those summer beers, which we will feature in episode 9, please stay tuned next week and go back to episode 7. Look at that beer list. The link is there. Click on that link, and you know what? Try to link in with us and pick up one of those summer beers. To find out what those summer beers are, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Facebook, and I'll get that information, because we would like to have someone do a cheers with us next week. And like I said, we would like to have individuals chime in live with us during episode 10. So that's that. We're going to talk NBA draft next week, because as you know, the draft is in 2 days. NBA free agency, which is going on. That's really important if you're a Los Angeles Lakers fan. It's really important if you're a Cavs fan, because LeBron James could bounce. And it's really important if you're a team with some money and you think you can lure in Kevin Durant. Stay connected. Twitter at CJ Sports Beer Pod, at CJ Sports Beer Pod on Twitter. Check us out on Tumblr, or at Tumblr on Tumblr. That's www.tumblr.com/blog/sports and beer podcast. You can always find us on Google+. Go to the search bar, wherever it's at, over there. Type in C&J Sports and Beer Podcast. You can get us. If you mess with me on Facebook, you can follow me on Facebook. You can get all the information and latest content on the C&J Sports and Beer Podcast. I need to take a sip, because I've been babysitting this. Can't leave without praising my two producers. A little dribbly lip there. Can't leave without praising my two producers, Marlena Bennett and David Masso. Thank you guys. One love. I appreciate it. Can't leave without thanking Ballast Point for this beautiful American porter, the Black Marlin. Can't leave without saying thank you to Ballast Point. Can't leave without thanking you guys for watching and listening in tonight. I appreciate it. One love. Later. Come back. Support the show. We appreciate you guys. We love you guys. Peace.
Okay, yeah. You let the beat right in, plastic. Jay Ricks, Joe June.
Yo, so they claim to spit that realness style. No more auto-tune and advanced mode style. Cause I've been killing microphones like it was embedded in my genetical code. I can give a fuck about a throne, or a belt, or a trophy that can't hold me. You need a triple team, triple beam, crack addiction. And when I listen, I hear you spitting. You call yourselves MCs, better yet Dr. Seuss. Bedtime lyrics make me wanna hit snooze. They should come up with a truce before we step up in the booth. And this is what you call fresh. More or less, you can goods, water down down and process. Regardless, we ain't trying to start shit. We just telling you your raps is garbage. We murder lines like we heartless with no conscience. The crazy fact is we just getting started. From the pilot in the cockpit to the carpet in the crib that you live, we represent this. From the cradle to the grave to the places where your ancestors lay. Just know that we represent this. Everywhere around the globe, from the sand to the stone.
From the sand to the soul,
We represent this. You can say what you want, but we just can't stop. When it comes to music, we on this hip hop shit.
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 Yo, I came in just to get it on. Stop for every hater that be hating on. Stop. Joe June came in like a typhoon. Haiku hoodie on mic for the right move. And nobody that really wanted is gonna test. I promise I'ma make it rain. Call me Sean Kemp. It's non-stop till the record stop popping. The girls stop coming to the shows, ain't jocking. And everybody knows that the West Coast locked it. Take away the key, snipe it at the locksmith. Pick a topic, I'm knocking like boxing, shocking. Clean it